China's economy is a study in contrasts. It is a tale of two systems operating in parallel, but with vastly different rules and implications. On one hand, we have the domestic economy denominated in renminbi. This is the China of controlled markets, state-owned enterprises, and a vast, complex system of levers and pulleys that the Communist Party uses to maintain its grip on power. On the other hand, there is China Inc. This is the face of China that engages with the global economy, exporting goods, attracting foreign investment, and amassing vast reserves of US dollars. China Inc. thrives on the principles of globalization, leveraging its manufacturing prowess and access to cheap labor to become the world's factory floor. Understanding this duality is crucial to deciphering the complexities of China's economic rise and the challenges it faces today. The domestic economy, for all its control, is riddled with vulnerabilities. The external economy, while seemingly integrated with the world, operates with a strategic agenda that raises concerns about fair play and long-term stability. This duality, this balancing act between internal control and external ambition, is at the heart of China's economic tightrope walk. It is a precarious balancing act, one that has far-reaching implications not just for China, but for the entire global economy. The stakes are high, and the world is watching closely as China navigates this uncertain terrain. China's domestic economy is a paradox. It is a system where the government exerts an iron grip on every aspect of economic life, yet it is also a system riddled with vulnerabilities that threaten its long-term stability. At the heart of this paradox lies the Chinese Communist Party's deep-seated need for control. The CCP views economic stability as essential to its political legitimacy. To maintain this stability, it has constructed a vast edifice of control mechanisms, using state-owned banks to direct capital, controlling the flow of information and manipulating currency markets to its advantage. This command and control approach has yielded impressive results in terms of GDP growth, lifting millions out of poverty and transforming China into an economic powerhouse. However, this growth has come at a cost. The Chinese banking system, with assets exceeding 350% of GDP, dwarfs its American counterpart, which stands at around 100%. This over-leveraged system, with nearly 40% of its assets tied to the volatile real estate market, is a house of cards waiting to collapse. The recent downturn in the Chinese property market, with values plummeting by 30 to 50% in some areas, has exposed the fragility of this system. Many banks are effectively insolvent, staring down a crisis potentially larger than the one faced by the US during the 2008 financial meltdown. The CCP's ability to print RMB might provide a temporary reprieve, but it cannot mask the underlying structural flaws in the Chinese economy. For decades, China's economic miracle has been intrinsically linked to its booming real estate market. The construction frenzy, fueled by easy credit and speculative investments, transformed skylines, lifted millions out of poverty, and fueled impressive GDP growth. However, this growth has come at a steep social and demographic cost. The relentless pursuit of property development has driven housing prices to astronomical levels, particularly in Tier 1 cities. The median home price-to-income ratio in these cities reached a staggering 25-1, making home ownership a distant dream for many, especially the younger generation. To put this in perspective, the US experienced its subprime mortgage crisis when this ratio reached a mere 6.6-1. This affordability crisis has had profound social repercussions. Young couples are delaying marriage and childbirth as they struggle to afford even a modest apartment. The birth rate has plummeted to a historic low of 1.2 children per woman, well below the replacement rate of 2.1. This demographic time bomb threatens to undermine China's future economic prospects. Recognizing the severity of this crisis, President Xi Jinping has taken a cautious approach towards the real estate market, refraining from the kind of massive stimulus packages that were deployed in the past. This reflects a tacit acknowledgement of the deep-seated imbalances in the Chinese economic model and the need for a more sustainable path to growth. Section 4 hooked on the Greenback China's external economic dependencies. While China boasts the world's second-largest economy and dreams of dethroning the US dollar, its external economic dependencies tell a different story. Despite its global ambitions, China remains tethered to the greenback, particularly for its insatiable appetite for raw materials and energy. As the world's largest importer of crude oil and liquefied natural gas, China relies heavily on dollar-denominated transactions to secure these vital resources. This dependence extends to other crucial imports like food, further solidifying the dollar's dominance in China's external trade. This reliance on the dollar creates a strategic vulnerability for China. It limits the country's ability to exert leverage in international affairs and exposes it to the fluctuations of the US economy. Moreover, China's closed capital account and tightly managed exchange rate system further complicate its relationship with the dollar, creating economic distortions and fueling accusations of currency manipulation. Section 5. The China Trade Mirage, from world's factory to global powerhouse. China's economic ascendance has been intricately linked to its role as the world's factory. Its ability to produce goods at low cost, fueled by cheap labor and lax environmental regulations, has reshaped global trade patterns. However, this export-driven model has come under increasing scrutiny, raising questions about its sustainability and long-term consequences. China's trade strategy has been a constant source of tension, particularly with the United States. Critics argue that China has engaged in unfair trade practices, including intellectual property theft, forced technology transfers, and currency manipulation to gain an unfair advantage in the global marketplace. While China has made some efforts to address these concerns, its commitment to a truly level playing field remains questionable. The trade war initiated by the Trump administration and the subsequent Phase 1 deal have done little to resolve the fundamental imbalances in the US-China trade relationship. Moreover, China's reliance on exports as a primary driver of economic growth is becoming increasingly untenable. As wages rise and the domestic market matures, China faces the challenge of transitioning from a low-cost manufacturing hub to a more innovation-driven economy.